be much easier for people coming from outside of the continent?
I'm happy you are asking that, because again, it's a perception. It's not very difficult to get a South African visa. It is just that people, when they apply for a South African visa, they want corners being cut. But when they apply for an American visa or apply for a European visa, they will follow the rules. And they will know that it takes a week there. So I must apply early for me to get that visa. But when it comes to South Africa, no, I'll just go there and just put pressure on them to give it to me the next day. So that's the problem. In fact, on the contrary, it is so difficult to get a Nigerian visa.
Really?
It's far more difficult. I think it's about 3 times more difficult to get a Nigerian visa to come in. Yes, that's why. Have you ever asked yourself, why aren't there so many South Africans in Lagos, coming, like so many Nigerians in Johannesburg? You must ask yourself that question. There must be something wrong somewhere. Tourism is one way. It is not the other way around. And we would be so happy if there could be so many tourists from South Africa coming to Nigeria. Tourists. We are not talking about people who are coming to work here. Even business people struggle to get a visa. In 2009, we had a binational where we agreed that we will issue 3-year multiple entry visas to business people of both countries. We implemented that, but it was never implemented from the side of Nigeria.
Yes, and the patriotism in South Africa is so palpable. I mean, everyone speaks passionately about the country.
We are all sad that he is gone. But today we celebrate him, we celebrate his good deeds. Mind you, it's not everybody who is celebrated after he dies. Because we can all celebrate the birth of a child. But it is not automatic that we are going to celebrate his life after his death. But with Madiba, we are celebrating him. And it is a real loss to not only South Africans, but to humanity at large. So we are happy that he had been sick for a long time, and he is now free from that pain. It was not good for us to look at him suffering like that, having been the father of the nation. It is, yes, the memories of what he did, very good. That is why we don't want to see those memories tainted by the suffering that we will be seeing in him. We are happy that he is free from that pain, and his memories will live forever. And the lessons learned from how he did things will always be with us as a legacy.
But looking at the country, South Africa is one of the biggest economies in Africa, and it was just years ago you were under the apartheid regime, and now you are considered one of the biggest economies in Africa. Now, what has aided that growth?
When we became free, I normally say to people in 1994 that we were not gaining independence, we were gaining freedom. We'd been independent since 1961 as South Africa. from our former colonial master. But because that the power was given to only one sector of the South African nation, much to the disadvantage of the majority, then there had always been a strife. But come 1994, it was the first time we go to the polls together as one nation, and therefore we got our freedom. Now, when we got our freedom, we already knew that everything that is in this country, the economy of this country, the structures, the infrastructure and everything, were built with the sweat of the disadvantaged. They worked hard. And we are not going now that we are now in power, going to destroy them. Our forefathers worked very hard to build those roads, to build those bridges, to build that economy. So we are not going to, as Nelson Mandela said, South Africa belongs to all those who live in it. Meaning that even we who have been disadvantaged all the time, and those who have had the economy of the country in their hands, this South Africa belongs to us all. So we have to come together now and make the best out of what we have. So that is why South Africa couldn't just go down. There was no revenge. If there was revenge, then we would have destroyed what was there. But there was no revenge. When Mandela got out of jail, he preached reconciliation and forgiveness. So we reconciled as a nation, and then for the first time we saw each other as brothers and sisters. And it was for all of us now to say whatever belongs to this country belongs to us all. We were all taxpayers. Everything that is built here, it is built out of our money, and not only that, but out of our sweat. So that's why.
Well, you also had great influence across Africa, but what was that like in relation to other African leaders? Because many of them admired him, but they did not want to be like him.
Well, I would agree with you. It's when you look back, when NEPAD was formed, then there was the peer review mechanism that accompanied NEPAD. It was not all leaders on the continent who wanted to sign up to that, because you didn't really want to be watched by another, by your peers who would then be telling you, no, don't do this, do it that way. Now you also see Nelson Mandela having served one term, and he said it at the beginning that I'm only going to serve one term. And after that one term, he didn't go for the second term, he stepped down gracefully. And that was a message to all the leaders on the continent, that you don't have to be the rest of your life in that position as a president. Oh yes, indeed, it was not everyone who liked that, but they all revered him, but they would not want to emulate him. So that has been the dichotomy of the African politics.
Well, you know, all the emotions going on during that time, he was going in and out of hospital, has been almost palpable. I mean, everybody around the world felt how everyone felt, how South Africans felt about Nelson Mandela. But what was it? What was it? Was it the fear of loss, you know, during the times he was going in and out of hospital? Was it a fear of loss?
I don't want to say the fear of loss, because when you fear, it seems that you are fearing some